Let's talk a little bit about ultralight backpacking today. My name is Matt. If you guys are new here, welcome to Matty Outdoors. On this channel, we talk a lot about ultralight backpacking and shaving weight out of your backpack and becoming more comfortable out there on trail. That is a huge thing to me. Just a little bit of a backstory about me. I've been backpacking nearly 20 years now, and for over 15 of those years, I was backpacking with a very, very heavy backpack, sort of a more traditional backpacking gear loadout. It was not uncommon for me to be out on a 3 to 4 day backpacking trip with a 45, 50 pound backpack. And while that was very manageable and doable for me, I eventually made the switch to sort of the more modern type of backpacking. And I thought I would go over some of the concerns and questions that people often have that I get on the channel quite a bit. And I would love to hear from you guys down in the comment section. If you guys agree with some of my opinions or if you guys disagree, I love open discussion about this kind of stuff. So yeah, let's just dive in. Let's start talking about kind of some of these concerns that people have when it comes to ultralight backpacking. First concern that we're going to talk about has to do with comforts. And a lot of people seem to think that when you get into sort of UL backpacking and going more lightweight and dropping your base weight down, you just end up giving up all of your comforts when you're out there on trail. And I honestly used to think that was the case as well. So when I started putting serious thought into lowering my base weight because I was dealing with a couple pretty almost significant injuries, I thought maybe there's something to this UL thing, but can I figure out a way to do it without giving up my comforts? And we are now about 5 years into sort of my lightweight / UL journey. And obviously I'm still going on it. So yes, I have found ways to sneak my comfort items in out on my backpacking trips. And a big way that I've been able to do that is multi-purpose gear. Please ignore the little strips of green tape. I've actually been standing on my Thermarest Z seat up here in Northern Canada. It's starting to get a little cold. I do all my filming down in my basement, and my basement floor is a little bit chilly. And I've just got this tape to the floor, and this is what I've been standing on. But my Thermarest Z seat, as I talk about all the time, more than just my ass pad, I use it as my hammock insulation. I've used this guy as a windscreen, I use it to fan fire. This little piece of gear here has probably ended up saving me 4 to 5 pounds out of my backpacking gear loadout just for different ways I can use it for multi-purpose. And it's going to go right back down to being another multi-purpose gear item and keep my toes warm as I'm standing on this cold basement floor right now. I found for myself the biggest comfort booster for me when it comes to going UL or lightweight or whatever you want to call it has been my life on trail while I'm hiking. I find that at the end of the day, crushing say a 25 kilometer day with 25 pounds on my back as opposed to 55 or 60 pounds on my back, it is so much more comfortable throughout the day. I'm not feeling that fatigue in my hips. I'm not feeling that, a little bit of drag on my shoulders because your pack's weighing down, and I'm not feeling it in my back at all. So just that overall comfort throughout the day has been huge for me. It's allowed me to continue to push the big miles that I want to do and not add to the nagging injuries that I've been dealing with for the last couple of years when it comes to my knees and my hips. Next up, we're going to talk about cost. And cost is a big concern for a lot of people because a lot of people seem to think that when it comes to ultralight backpacking, you've got to jump into the world of Dyneema shelters and the custom-made Dyneema backpacks. And if that's the route that you decide to go, yes, there is no other way to say it. You are going to spend money. Going into that world is definitely a bit of a pay to play, if you want to call it that. But if you are a budget-minded backpacker like myself and you don't want to spend a ton of money, you do not have to spend hundreds and hundreds of dollars on a Dyneema shelter or hundreds of dollars on a Dyneema backpack to kind of get into the UL or lightweight backpacking world. There are tons of different budget options out there to get yourself a lower base weight and get you enjoying life out there on trail. Now, if you're looking at getting some budget ultralight backpacking gear, I've actually previously done a couple different videos on that, and I'll pop one of them up right here for you guys. So if you're looking for some, budget ultralight gear options, check that video up top there. The next concern we're going to talk about has to do with durability, and this one always kind of perplexes me. When I first started looking at ultralight backpacking, kind of getting some ultralight backpacking gear, the first place I started looking is the thru hikers. And we're talking thru hikers, we're talking, the amazing guys and gals that are out there hiking the PCT and the CDT and the GDT and the AT, and they're crushing thousands of kilometers over a couple months. So the durability question on ultralight gear, I don't really understand. There's a lot of folks out there who still seem to think that you need, you know, military grade gear when it comes to going on backpacking trips. It's just not true. I've been using ultralight gear for years now, and I really haven't had a whole lot of gear failures. I mean, gear failures are something that is going to happen. You know, it's going to happen to everybody who's out there backpacking for any significant amount of time. You know, even someone carrying, you know, these military grade pieces of gear, you're going to have gear failures. If you take care of your gear, it's going to last you. If it came down to, you know, me throwing my ultralight backpack down the side of a cliff and someone else throwing their military grade backpack down the side of a cliff, the military grade one is probably going to, you know, hold up a little bit better. I mean, it's probably going to be beat up and torn, but, you know, my ultralight backpack, yes, will probably be beat up and torn a little bit more, or maybe significantly more. But when it comes to just, you know, straight backpacking, you know, you're throwing your backpack on, you're walking down a trail, you're setting up camp, you're getting up the next day, putting your backpack on, maybe continuing down trail, or, you know, hiking out and going home. Ultralight backpacking gear, that's what it's made for. Now, the next concern we're going to talk about is probably the biggest one to me that kind of I take to heart, and that has to do with safety. I know a lot of folks out there seem to think that, you know, when it comes to UL backpacking and getting a lighter weight backpack, you're just giving up all of your safety measures. And for me, that's not true. I can't speak for every ultralight backpacker out there. I don't know what every single person is carrying in their backpack. But for myself, when it comes to my gear loadout, I'm still carrying a fully kitted first aid kit. I've still got my bear spray on me. I've still got a knife on me. I've still got some extra cordage on me. You know, I've still got my InReach on me. And I carry all the same safety measures that I did when I was doing a more traditional backpacking gear loadout. And to kind of add to that, I feel that I've actually become safer as a backpacker since going to a more ultralight gear loadout. And when I say that I've become safer, I mean when it comes to, you know, just dealing with terrain out there on the trail, you know, be it just your standard typical rocky, rooty trails. I find for me, my body just tends to move a little bit more fluidly out there on trail. I'm a lot less clumsy and clunky, you know, when I've only got, say, 20 pounds on my back and I'm just kind of almost gliding across the trail. And when you get into some of the more technical aspects of trail, you know, like say doing some, you know, knee to thigh deep river crossings or even some scrambling sections, you know, you're doing some hands-on pseudo rock climbing. I find for myself, it is much safer doing those types of things with a significantly lighter backpack than my more traditional heavy backpack. As I've been rambling on about ultralight backpacking, if this has kind of, you know, shifted your views on it, or it's something that you're, you know, looking into and getting into ultralight backpacking, I've got an entire playlist on different weight-saving backpacking tips to kind of help you get started, and I'll fire that right here for you. So when you're done with this video, find a video in that playlist, check that out. I'll see you guys over there. And as always, I'm Matty. Thank you so dang much for watching. I'll see you on the next one.